Let's do a little song now. We need some more music. This was from a collection in Wind that I collected. This is an interesting song, and thereby holds the tale. I'll tell you the story of it. It was there was a song called "Just Before the Battle, Mother, I Was Thinking of You," and so on, of the friends I left behind, and so on. And it was a northern song. And then this was another song with that melody. Just before the battle, mother, I was drinking mountain dew, when I heard the rebels marching. To the rear I quickly flew, where the stragglers were flying, thinking of their homes and wives, their homes and wives. 'Twas not the rebs we feared, dear mother, but for our own dear precious lives. Farewell, mother, for you'll never find my name among the slain. If I can skedaddle, mother, I'll come running home again. Now that's a deserter song, right? Wrong. It was written by a lady of the Southern Confederacy, and they were ladies then, who was making fun of the alleged cowardice of the Northern soldiers. Now that was another good war, right? That was the war to free the slaves, right? Wrong. That was the war in which Lincoln said, if I could preserve the Union by freeing the slaves, I would do it. If I could, he hadn't freed them yet. If I could preserve the Union by having half states, half free and half slave, I would do it. And if I could preserve the Union by doing nothing, I'm paraphrasing, doing nothing about slavery, I would do that too. That war, I'm afraid, was a war between about which part of the ruling classes would rule America. And there were arguments about tariffs and so on. Whether it was going to be the plantation owners, the landed aristocracy of the South, or the Northern industrialists. That's what that war was about. And it was disguised as a war for freedom of freeing the slaves. And how did they propose to run the war? Well, there weren't enough volunteers, so they instituted the first draft. And except it was a peculiar draft. Each state had to provide a certain number of soldiers, draftees. And if you had $300, you could just give it to the government, and you didn't have to go. Now, who had $300? Not the poor. That was a lot of money then. That might have been like, I don't know, $30,000 now. Not many people had not many of the immigrants or the working class or people like Arkie had the money. He would have been drafted probably as, no, actually he looks sort of middle class. So somehow the lower classes in several cities didn't think that was a good idea. So they rioted and burnt down the draft offices in New York City. A lot of them were poor Irish immigrants. They made a few mistakes. This is irony. And they killed over 100 mostly black people in New York who were completely innocent of anything. And these riots, they also took advantage, burnt houses of the rich. They beat up the police. They looted. You know, looting is just a rapid redistribution of property, like some people on Wall Street when they double the value of their own stock. do various other methods of cheating. Some rob you with a gun, and some use a fountain pen, as Woody Guthrie wrote. So the riots lasted many days in New York, and the federal troops had to be called in, and they killed some rioters, and they stopped the riots. And the city fathers and the leaders, the leading citizens, the rich people and the politicians got together, and New York State passed a law that they would pay the $300. Or you could also send a substitute. You could pay for a substitute. So that whole bill, I think less than a score of people from New York eventually were drafted in that manner. The others had their fees taken care of by the state government. Now, ow! Oh my God! I'm being attacked.
7th inning stretch.